everyone, this is Vishwateja, working as an Associate Research Analyst in IndustryARC. Today I am going to present a webinar on tissue banking industry growth potential from emerging markets. Moving ahead, the webinar is divided into 5 segments. Overview of tissue banking in medical field, major drivers and constraints, different testing methods in tissue banking, government regulations and limitations of tissue banks, geographical potential from emerging markets. Starting with the overview of tissue banking. Tissue banking can be defined as a collection of various tissues such as blood, bone, heart, valves, skin, cornea, blood vessels and soft tissues, etc. from donors, which are further harvested, sterilized, processed and preserved by placing under appropriate storage conditions for use during surgery or medical research. Tremendous advancements in drug discovery, clinical trials, regenerative medicine, biobanking, increased investments by governments and non-government and corporate organizations, and advances in the treatment of disorders are the factors expected to accelerate the growth and development of the tissue banking market. Tissue banking gives a promising hope for treating various debilitating conditions such as neurological diseases, cardiovascular diseases, diabetes mellitus and other autoimmune diseases. The global market for tissue banking has been segmented by the tissue type, by equipment and by application. Now moving forward with the drivers of tissue banking, rising prevalence of chronic diseases. Chronic diseases comprise major disease burden and leading cause of death globally. As per World Health Organization, worldwide deaths due to chronic diseases and disease burden rates have 45% and 86% share respectively under the 70 years of age group. Stem cells, which have a property to differentiate into specialized type of cells, can be used for specific purposes like cell-based therapies and drug screening and have capability to treat more than 80 diseases. Going to another major driver, advancements in biobanking technology. According to UNESCO Bioethics Committee, biobank is defined as an entity which has the capability for large-scale collection of human biological material. The stored samples can be further used for biomedical research purposes. Biobanking is becoming a lucrative market due to growing advancements in biotechnology, bioinformatics and genomics. The revenue generating potential from new drugs and treatment regimens has contributed in the development of biobanks. Research finding of biobanks related study has also increasingly been utilized to predict the disease pattern, which in turn can be used to guide health policies and healthcare expenditures, thereby fostering the overall tissue banking market. Now going forward to another major driver, growth in the government initiatives and funding for stem cell research. Stem cell research is becoming increasingly competitive as ample of government funding programs are underway to stem cell research. Numerous initiatives have been taken by states in the US for stem cell research more than a decade ago. In the United States National Institute of Health (NIH), funding for stem cell research in 2014 was more than $1.2 billion, which was segmented into embryonic and non-embryonic human and non-human stem cells. The UK Stem Cell Initiative UKSCI was announced in 2005 to draw up a 10-year vision plan for stem cell research in the UK by encouraging both public and private funding of research in the field. The UK National Stem Cell Network UKNSCN was launched in 2007 in order to bring the wide range of disciplines and interests in the UK stem cell community under one umbrella. In Asia, RICON is the largest publicly funded basic research organization in Japan, and RICON Center for Developmental Biology (CDB) has annual research budget of 1.4 billion yen. With 0.4 billion yen for stem cell research. Other Asian countries like China, Australia, Singapore, South Korea, the government is pushing the stem cell research to bring health benefits to the public. Moving forward to another major driver of tissue banking, growing public awareness of stem cell treatments, increasing awareness and knowledge of public and medical professionals about tissue donation is crucial for tissue transplantation. Awareness efforts lead to rise in donor registration entries, tissue donations and transplantations, obtaining corporate sponsorships and encourage family discussions and others. Potential public awareness activities include community program, corporate and community tissue bank program, school program, proactive media placements, internet old age homes program, use of celebrities as spokesperson, production of television shows and many others. Various countries have developed public awareness campaigns to enhance organ and tissue donation awareness. International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) actively supports tissue banking development through improved public awareness and also involved with research and development, training and all tissue banking related areas. Now moving forward to challenges of tissue banking. High cost of tissue banking technique will slow down the market growth. Tissue banks incur high cost in order to retrieve, process, store, maintain and distribution of tissues for further use. Tissue banks can be segmented into public and private banks, where private banks provide most costly products and exclusive services that can be used by the family members when required as compared to public banks. As public banks do not charge any fees and can be used by any person at the time of need who has a suitable genetic match. Clinical trials may also add the cost of tissue banking and storage to the contracts. A tissue bank has two types of total cost, that is variable cost and fixed cost. Variable cost differs with the number of donors processed by a tissue bank, whereas fixed cost generally does not vary with the donors. Moreover, insurance providers does not cover this technique under healthcare insurance policy, which further increase the out-of-pocket cost of the donor in some cases, including cord blood and cord tissue banking. Moving forward to another challenge, tissue stability concerns will restrict the tissue banking market growth. Long-term maintenance of genetically stable cells is of prime importance in order to achieve reproducible results and continuity in the research. Tissues may lose mechanical strength and protein may denature in dry and hot temperatures. Cells have a constant risk of changing while actively grown in cultures that increases the chance of changes in genetic materials and contamination. Sample is made stable for limited long-term period through cryogenic techniques. Recently, a study has been conducted by mRNA on human liver in vitro tissue, which is important for further accurate studies. The higher costs involved in maintaining the long stability times for further treatment of disease and biomedical research studies will impact the tissue banking market. Government regulations and reimbursements will impact the market growth. Tissue banking is a highly regulated in most countries, including the United States, Europe and Canada. In the United States, tissue banking is governed by US Food and Drug Administration, US FDA, Center for Biologics Evolution and Research, CBER, regulations by state laws governing gift law by mode of consent and by standard setting body like American Association of Tissue Banks, AATB, and the iBank Association of America. European Union regulates tissue banking related activities in Europe by means of EU directives and must be compliant with the national laws and standard setting body like European Association of Tissue Bank EATB and European iBank Association. Limited government reimbursement on tissue samples significantly affects the tissue banking market growth. While the tissue donors or their family members are not entitled to receive any reimbursement, most get reimbursement by tissue banks for the utilization of their facility. iBank can reimburse tissues like cornea from Medicare. Lack of reimbursement and stringent government regulations will impact the tissue banking market. Complex accreditation policies and stringent license legislations to impede the tissue banking market growth. Accreditation policies were initiated by American Association of tissue banks in 1986. Specifically for tissue banks, accreditation requires formally approved professional competence and performance of the tissue banks in all the steps involving donor suitability assessment, tissue collection, tissue processing, labeling and packaging, storage, handling and distribution. Accreditation standards are vary with countries such as American Association of Blood Banks AABB focuses on optimizing patient and donor care and safety. AATB responsible for procuring, processing and storing umbilical cord blood stem cells that can be used for transplantation. Now moving forward to the testing methods in tissue banking. The different testing methods in tissue banking are screening, tissue retrieval, serological testing, microbial testing. Transplantation of tissues from donor to recipient is a critical process. A wide range of tissues including heart valves, skin, bone, cornea and others are collected from different donors and are transplanted to patients with a requirement of those tissues. But this transplantation is not easy as the risk of transmission of infectious diseases is always present. So to avoid such infections, a donor is screened before releasing the samples for further use. Tissue retrieval means the retrieval of tissues from deceased donor. There are certain precautions that should be taken in order to ensure safe and proper tissue retrieval. Minimization of tissue contamination during procurement. Check that the procurement facility is suitable for procurement of tissues and also is risk assessed prior to commencement of tissue retrieval. All the instruments used during retrieval must be sterile and should be stored on a back table which is covered with a sterile drape and wherever possible. Single-use equipment should be used. By following this set of precautions, tissues can be retrieved in a safe and secure manner. Now going forward to serological testing. Serological testing is a series of tests which are primarily carried out in confirming a specific diagnosis and to formulate appropriate management strategies. The standard serology testing for all tissues is a 3-panel test which includes hepatitis B and C and HIV 1 and 2. There are other types of testing procedures available such as polymerase chain reaction, nucleic acid amplification technology, CMV and others which are performed as per the requirement of recipient. Another testing involved in tissue banking is microbial testing. The procurement, transport and processing of tissues always carry a significant risk of microbiological contamination. Therefore, microbiological testing of tissue preparations plays a major role in the safety of the recipient. Tissue banks generally use a sterility test to examine the suitability of tissue. However, several tissue banks also use additional types of media along with sterility test to ensure detection of slower growing or environment specific organisms that were not detected in the standard sterility test. Coming to the last part of the webinar, geographically the market for tissue banking is segmented into 4 different regions, mainly to Americas, Europe, Asia Pacific and rest of the world. Americas is the biggest market for tissue banking market presently. It is divided into different geographic regions such as Canada, Brazil and Mexico. The key factors that is driving the tissue banking market in Americas are public awareness, increased spending on healthcare and rising in aging population. Europe region has been growing steadily over the past decade. Countries such as Spain, France and Germany where tissue donation is done extensively. Asia Pacific region has the highest growth rate as compared to any other regions. Continuous developments in healthcare infrastructure, high prevalence of chronic diseases such as cancer and arthritis will drive the market in this region. The major economies in this region are China and India. Coming to China, China has been the biggest contributor in the tissue banking market with its large storage facilities and government initiatives. The rise in aging population, higher per capita income will drive the market growth in China. Now, coming to India, the Indian government is taking further steps to increase tissue donation in the country. There is lack of information about the subject which needs to be overcome. There is a need for creating public awareness about tissue banking so that millions of lives can be saved. Rest of the world consists of countries such as South Africa, Israel and Iran. These countries are slowly emerging as potential markets. There is slow economic growth and less awareness among tissue donation is lowering the growth of tissue banking market in this region. That concludes my webinar on tissue banking market. For further queries, please visit our website. Do revert us with your queries. Thank you for watching.